Thanks so much for having us, Patrick. My name is Geneva Long. I'm the CEO of Bowlus. Let me give you a little bit of a background of the history on Bowlus. Bowlus is the original riveted aluminum travel trailer from the 1930s. Really fantastic history. The original designer went on to build sailcraft and airplanes and the Spirit of St. Louis. The country then went dormant for a few years, and we brought it back over 14 years ago because my family had a vintage 1935 Bowlus that we absolutely loved and took on a fantastic road trip. People asked us everywhere, where can I get a Bowlus just like that? And so we went away and designed the modern Bowlus, and that was over 14 years ago. And here we are now with the 2025 Bowlus Rivet. I'll go through a few key specs outside. We'll do a tour of the outside, and then we'll go inside. So let's start at the high level on the specs. This is a 25-foot Bowlus, and that's from tip to tip. Dry weight is 2,800 pounds with a GVWR of 3,500 pounds, which is so incredibly lightweight it can be towed by a huge variety of tow vehicles, including electric tow vehicles. So specifically, this model is a really great complement for the Tesla Y or Tesla X, and Bowlus has fantastic towing range, over 230 miles per charge, which is about 73% of range as well. So you can get from charging station to charging station, which is really unique in an RV of this size. Let's start also from some specs inside. The Bowlus has a cassette toilet system of 4.5 gallons, 20-gallon freshwater tank, 20-pound propane tank, and 21-gallon gray water tank. We have 8 kilowatt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries, 400 watts of solar on the roof, and a really powerful Bowlus power management system for off-grid time. Let's start on the hitch. So we have a 2-inch coupler here. You'll notice no weight equalization hitches, and that's because the Bowlus doesn't need it. It has a really low center of gravity, no sway because it's perfectly balanced, and like we mentioned before, incredibly lightweight and aerodynamic. We have a low hitch weight of 300 pounds, and so that means you can actually pull around your Bowlus by hand with the handle. We'll also go into the Aero Move feature a little bit later, but certainly incredibly lightweight. 7-pin connector, safety cables, breakaway chain. On the front, you'll find a propane tank. We've got that fiberglass propane tank, 20 pounds, like I mentioned before, really lightweight, able to be taken to the fill station and refilled. The only appliance that is powered by the propane is the heater and hot water system. Everything else in the unit is electric, and the heater and hot water system can run off electric too. And so propane is really just for cold winter camping, is a great way to think of it. Now let's talk a bit about how the Bowlus is made. So we have an all aluminum space frame, which is TIG welded together. We then use 2024 T3 aluminum, which is the type of aluminum that aircraft and aerospace is made out of. We've cut those panels flat on the CNC machine, and then we hand buck the rivets. And these are all structural rivets. Where the Bowlus gets its power or gets its strength is actually from the outside. So it's almost like an exoskeleton if you think about it. It is a full monocoque design, meaning that the aluminum completely wraps around the bottom of it. Let's talk a little bit about buck rivets. So these are all bucked rivets, and those are done the traditional way you would expect, with one person on the outside and one person on the inside, bucking that and squishing that rivet against each other. Then as we move on, we've got commercial grade locks, grab handle. There is a step which folds up for additional clearance, step light. As we move back, we have 4 stabilization jacks, 2 on the front and 2 on the back. Because we have that low hitch weight, it's really needed. We have that full monocoque design, so aluminum is completely wrapping underneath the Bowlus, and that's a huge advantage because it means you don't have to worry about vermin, exposed wires, anything else like that. It's something you need to look for in an RV. We then have marker lights. We've got our outdoor storage hatch right here. It is lockable. And inside you'll see our stabilization crank, some chocks, our 30 amp cord, and our awning. Now that awning can go on either side, and I'll point out for the railing for you in just a second. So we've got drip rail, awning rail, and then lots of times people will point out this hole and say, oh, you might have missed a rivet. It's not a missed rivet, it's a weeping hole for that window up above. All of our windows are polycarbonate because they're incredibly lightweight. We also use all brass screen. As we move back, we have that Aero Move feature. This is an option on all of our models. What it does is it engages against the wheel and allows you to maneuver the Bowlus with a handheld remote, which is a really great feature to get into tight campsites, get it into a place into storage that might be a pain to back it up into. We then have the Dexter Torflex number 10 axle, all-terrain tires. Up above we have the air conditioning exhaust. We then have all screws with rivet nuts behind if you ever need to remove this fender skirt. Emergency exit door. Below we have the cassette toilet. Now let's talk a little, which is a lockable. Let's talk a little bit about a cassette toilet because it's not something you maybe see every day. This is the most popular European system for the toilet. And what that means is that you're able to empty it into any standard toilet, porta potty, or sewer clean out valve by just dumping it easily. It also means you never have to look for a dump station and you never have to take your whole RV to the dump station just because you need to empty your black water tank. We use a ALDA system in the Bowlus, so that is a full hydronic heating system, circulating antifreeze throughout the Bowlus to keep it warm. Now the Bowlus is a 4 seasons trailer. All of the water systems are contained inside and the freshwater tank is contained inside. And the combination of that with the ALDA means that you can enjoy winter camping because as long as it's kept warm, all of your water systems are ready for use. Now, as we look at the back, you'll really be able to admire all the rivets here, over 5,000 of them completed. And with that aluminum, which again was all done in flat sheets and riveted all together, creates a really beautiful look. All LED tail lights. And as we move to the other side, we'll talk a little bit about water systems. So we've got the freshwater gravity fill right here. We then have city water connection over here. We've got a license plate and license plate light on the rear as well. As we move over, in terms of electrical, so the Bowlus uses a 30 amp electrical system, but everything inside the Bowlus, including the air conditioning, can be run on a 15 amp system. So that means if you're staying at a friend's or family's home and they only have a regular household outlet, you'll be able to plug into that and still run all of your key appliances, which is quite unique. Also over here you'll find the solar panel inputs. Now we already have solar on the roof, the 400 watts of solar up on the roof, which is a flexible panel that's fit to the top, incredibly aerodynamic. Again, everything at the core of what Bowlus does is aerodynamic, lightweight, and really high quality. So we're building everything ourselves right up from the frame, right outside to the exterior aluminum and everything that goes inside. And then underneath, we've got additional stabilization jacks and then our gray water system. So you would hook up a gray water hose to that system and then pull the valve in order to drain it. Now, because you're not combining gray with black water, you're able to dump this in more variety of places, maybe on your lawn, especially if you're using biodegradable soap. So lots of flexibility there. The Bowlus is not just made for a campground, it's really made for off-grid exploration. Now, in terms of the aluminum, the rivet is not as polished as our Volterra or Terra Firma, so you might expect some variety from panel to panel, which is part of that patina look. On our Terra Firma and Volterra, everything is fully polished, and that's one of the key differences in these units between our Terra Firma and Volterra and our Rivet. The Rivet is our smallest floor plan, and as we wrap around the front, also worth pointing out that we have the awning on both sides. And you can also purchase 2 awnings if you wanted to have both sides set up. So really unique feature. And I know you've all been waiting for it, so let's go inside. So let's give you a lay of the land of the whole Bowlus, and then I'll dive more into the details. So we start here at the front. We have the kitchen, split galley kitchen on both sides, 12-volt fridge, induction cooktop. We then move into the living room. In the living room, we have a dinette on one side, sofa side on the other. Now, both of these each convert into a twin. As we move back, we move into the bathroom shower area. I'll show you how those doors work in a second. We've got the shower on this side and the toilet on this side. And then in the back, we have a king bed, and this Bowlus also comes in a twin bed configuration as well. Now that you know where everything's laid out, let me dive into the details, and we'll start with the kitchen first. So in the kitchen on this side, we have an induction cooktop, which has 2 burners. We also have a 3.1 cubic foot fridge with freezer. On this side, we have lots of kitchen storage. So let me open up that for you. Got 3 cabinets on this side. As we move up, We've got the porch step light on there. This is the switch to turn on the induction cooktop, fire extinguisher as well. And then as we move on to the other side, we have even more storage. Down here is a really great place for the trash can. We also, as you can see, use all real wood on the inside. And then we are using anodized aluminum on the exterior, which is a different type of aluminum than that we are using on the exterior. We then have 2 large storage drawers. And all of our drawers throughout the Bowlus are all hard pull soft close. Open up that one as well. And we make all of our drawers. We actually make over 70% of the Bowlus in our factory in Southern California, which is very different from other RV manufacturers. We are a manufacturer, not an assembler. And so we're making everything down to the seating and drawers like this. And they're made the way they are because we want them to be incredibly lightweight. Back to that everything Bowlus does. Now, in terms of the floors, we use a wood floor underneath, which is a light ply wood floor. We then router it so that it can have the heating inside. So all the Bowlus floors are heated. We then put anodized aluminum over it to disperse the heat, and then vinyl flooring on top of it. And everything in the Bowlus is screwed in rather than glued in or stapled or nail gunned in, and all of that is for it to be able to come out to be serviced in the future. Also on this side, we've got the kitchen sink. We have all stainless steel countertops. This is the only thing in the Bowlus that isn't aluminum, is that stainless steel countertop. Faucet also extends. And then we've got the microwave here. All of our outlets are live off the inverter at all times as well, so you're never fighting for that outlet together. And so we've got 2 in the kitchen for your use. On the ceiling, so we have 4 vents throughout, which are beautiful and all manufactured by us as well. They've got those brass screens. We also have lighting throughout on top, and you can turn it on and off with individual switches, and then it is also dimmable as well. And then as we move back, we're now in the living room. We've got all of our storage down below, and that's for low center of gravity and good handling. So you have 5 drawers just like this, again, all made by Bowlus, all incredibly lightweight. That's that soft close. And then on this side. And then on this side, you've got the dinette, and this is a really fantastic workspace for people who are looking to work remotely. So if I sit down at it, you'll kind of get an idea for space. You can have 2 15-inch laptops open here with one person working, another here. Down below, we've got 120 volt outlets as well as USB. Next to it in the middle, we have the breaker box for distribution, and then 12 volt fuses. This red knob that you're seeing is what turns on Aero Move from the inside as well. Let's talk a little bit about the seating. So we use a really high quality foam, and then we sew all of the interiors ourselves. The Bowlus Rivet comes in one color theme, which is the black, called Onyx, and it is an incredible performance fabric. Otherwise, as we're sitting in the living room, we have those beautiful birch walls. Now our birch is sealed on all 6 sides, which means that it doesn't have issues with any water ever touching it, should that ever happen. It's really made for longevity. Now the curtains. So let me undo those. So we've got curtains that roll down and then can be sealed against here to create a blackout environment for sleeping. And we have all of those curtains throughout. Let me open the second one too. There we go. And those are the same types of curtains in the bedroom as well. And then to put them back up, we're just going to roll them back up really easily and secure them with the Velcro. You also see those polycarbonate windows we talked about outside, and that's that slide, which is a really beautiful window design because it's curved both up and down and side to side. So really unique type of windows with those brass screen. On the sofa side, you've got that wonderful sofa, and then you also have the smart television over here. Now you'll see a vent over on your left. That's the air conditioning vent. The air conditioning can run up to 2 overnights in this Bowlus just from the battery. Really fantastic type of system. And as I'm pointing out other here, oh, both of these can convert as well, and this is how the Bowlus sleeps 4. This converts into a twin bed by removing this cushion, and then this table removes. There's inserts that go in between. The cushions get pushed together, and that's how this side converts into a twin bed. So next I want to point out that we are RVIA certified, and so you'll find all of those safety features inside the Bowlus, and we build to that very strict safety standards. So we already went through the fire extinguisher inside, but you'll also find alarms. This is our smoke alarm. There's a carbon monoxide alarm. There's a propane alarm, as well as an emergency exit that's over the toilet. Now let's move back into the bedroom. So I'm going to open this door first. And one of the great things about the Bowlus is with this door system, and when I open this one, you'll be able to create that entire bathroom privacy system. As well as if you're sleeping in the bedroom, be able to completely separate from the living room and bedroom, which is a really unique feature in a 25-foot trailer. On this side, you'll find, again, stainless steel countertops, sink, bathroom sink, plugs in the back. We have a vanity mirror here with lots of storage behind. That's our TV remote right there. Close that. Got the vanity light on this side. Well, let's also go through our panels while we're here. So we've got our air conditioner panel here. Like I mentioned before, it can also work off of the battery system, vents to all 3 rooms. We then have our battery system monitor, which is a touch screen. And so here you can see that we have 89% battery, how much power we're using inside, 38 watts, and that our charger, solar charger, is generating 74 watts outside, which is showing how we're able to have that infinite electrical use off-grid because we're generating more than we're using. If I go up to the top, we have a full power kill switch, so that goes into storage. We then have the inverter charger here, which is able to invert power if you want to use anything and from the electrical system for 120 volt inside the Bowlus, as well as how you would charge it if you were connected to shore power on the outside. And then, like I said before, we use that Alda glycol hydronic heating system, and that's the control panel right here. I can turn it on for you right now. So it gives the internal temperature, which is it's quite hot today in New Jersey. And over on the menu, I'm able to then set the heating, which I wouldn't be doing today, and then tell it how I want it to power, which is either on propane or on electric or off of battery. So a lot of flexibility on that. As I move back, this is also the air conditioner intake. And then you have lots more storage down below for any toiletries. As I move back, we then have the cassette toilet on this side. And that's the flush valve down below. And then the blue button at the back is to add water to the bowl. There is a light when it's time to empty your cassette as well. And then a toilet paper holder. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see that Alda antifreeze tank. So that's where your technician would be refilling your Alda fluid. And then you also have that vent in there, which is another air conditioning vent, as well as light up above with the switch right here. And then on to the other side, we have the shower. So I'm going to shut you in the bathroom now and you'll be able to see the shower. So you'll see on the shower that it's a sit-down shower and really beautiful Italian shower head. Teak wood inside. We designed the shower so it's easy to wipe down and maintain. As well, it was really important to us to have that separate shower from toilet, which again is quite unique in an RV like this. As we move towards the back, we then have the bedroom. And before we go into the bedroom, I first want to mention the storage down below, which is great for extra pillows, blankets, or big jackets. Another thing I should have mentioned is that there's hooks behind all of the doors where you can hang additional jackets, storage, that type of thing. Now into the bedroom, we have a really beautiful organic cotton cover for the mattress. It is a 3-layer memory foam mattress. And then I'm gonna lift this up to show you all the hatches underneath. And that's something that's really unique about Bowlus, is that all of your things you might need to access, even for service, are easy to do so. So the hatch on this side would be to access your water pump when you winterize, and we wanna make sure that's really easy. On top, we have that full window. Our windows are open, so we have those brass screens, blackout on the inside as well. The windows in the back have wood covers for blackout as well. And then at the foot, we have the nightstand. The valve on the top is an air bleed valve for the ALDA system. We also have an ALDA booster fan for your toes and USB and USB-C charging at the foot. We have reading lights on either side as well, which turn on here, and there's also USB charging below them. And this bed also comes in the twin bed configuration. We have here the king bed configuration. That is 6'7" in length and 80 inches wide. So that concludes our tour. Let's talk pricing now. So this Bowlus 2025 Rivet starts at $165,000 MSRP. There's also a tax credit that brings it down to $148,500. In terms of options, you saw the smart television, that's a $750 option. You saw the propane tank, that's a $750 option. And then there's also a $520 awning, which you could either get two of to add to either side. And then the Aero Move, that's a $10,000 option. That concludes our tour. You can find more about Bowlus at bowlus.com. You can order your Bowlus at bowlus.com, and we also have dealers throughout the country.